This is just a quick lesson on how to use your graphic calculator to solve exponential equations. So we're going to look at two problems just quickly, and then hopefully that will be enough for you to feel confident about getting out there and solving some on your own. So here's the first one. We want to solve this equation, 2.5 to the power of x equals 80. Now that means 2.5 times itself, how many times equals 80? We don't know, and the answer is not going to be a nice, neat number. So we need to use the calculator somehow. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the two halves of this equation into y1 and y2. So in y1, I'm going to put 2.5 to the power of x. So this is going right in to my y1. Okay. In y2, I'm just going to put the other side of the equation. In this case, that's just this 80. So on one side I'm going to put 2.5 to the x, the other side I'm going to put 80, and then I'm going to graph it. But before I do that, I need to set my window. So once you do this, then go to Window, and we'll take a look at what the window might be. In this case, because it's going up to 80, I know that my y max shouldn't be anything above, or sorry, anything below 80. So for me, I'm going to put, I'm going to make it go as high as 100. That way, I have a little above that I can see. The same thing for the x's. I'm not sure what it'll be, but usually if I go up to 10, then I will find my answer there. If I don't see it, then I can adjust this window as I go. So let's take a look at what this graph looks like, and we'll see. So there's the 2.5 to the x, and then there's the 80. Right, so now I just need to see where these cross. So remember, this is just going to be second, and then right above the trace button is calc, and I'm going to choose intersect. Now it always says first curve, second curve, guess. That just means what are the two lines that you want to find the intersection of, and then about where they cross. So first curve, it could be either one of these two. If you just hit up and down, you'll switch between the two. So choose one of them. Second curve, you just want to make sure to choose the other one. And then the guess, move it pretty close to where you think the answer is going to be. Hit enter, and it's going to give you the answer. So there's the answer. Because this problem we know is going to be at 80 for the y, the real part that we're solving is what is the x. So in this case, we can see our final answer here is the x value. X is 4.782354. So we would say for this problem, x equals 4.78. Okay? And that's all we need to do. That is the answer for this equation. And we can use our calculator completely to do this. The only trick is to set up the window. All right? Here's a second one. Now in this one, it's not just a number to the power of x, but it's something times that number. In this case, 15 times 8 to the power of x equals 135. Now there's two ways that you can solve this, all right? And we'll look at both. The first one is to just plug in both sides. So in y1, we're going to just put in 15 times 8 to the x. In y2, we're just going to put in 135. So we will just enter those two things in the calculator. So 15 times 8 to the power of x. And in the other one, we will enter 135. Now again, we need to go to the window. Maybe between 1 and 10 will work, and I know that will, because I know 8 to the power of 10 is going to be a really, really big number, a lot more than 135. So I'm going to start with that for the x's. For the y's, though, I know I have to go at least as high as 135. And like I said before, it's good to always go a little above. So I'm actually going to go up to 150 in this case. And then let's take a look. So there is 15 times 8 to the x. Here comes the line y equals 135. And we can find where they intersect. So second calc, intersect. First curve, second curve, just make sure it's the other line. And then the guess, just move kind of close so your calculator has an idea of where to look, and there's our answer. All right? So we can see in this case, again, y is 135, which we already knew, but the x is what we're interested in. X is 1.056. So for this problem then, we will say x equals 1.06 if we're rounding to 3 significant figures. Okay? Now, the other way that you could solve this if you want to, if you feel like these numbers are getting too big, you could also do a little algebra first. We can't do anything with that 8 to the x, but we can get rid of the 15 that's being multiplied by it. So if I divide both sides by 15, then what I'm going to get here is 8 to the power of x equals 9. And maybe that's an easier problem for you to solve. It's a lot smaller numbers. So now, instead of writing all of this in y1, I can just write 8 to the power of x, because that's what's on the left side here, so 8 to the power of x. On the other side then, I will put what's on the right side of the equation, which is just 9. Just 9. Right? Now again, I'm going to set my window up, because right now my window is going really high, but because the biggest value I have here is 9, then I'm going to change my window to go for the y values just up to 10. And I'll make it go by 1s instead of by 10s. I know my answer now already is going to be 1.06 because I already found it. So maybe I'll make this a little smaller and I'll say it goes from just -1 to 3. And now I can graph it. So now here's my graph 8 to the power of x. And there's my line y equals 9. Second calc, intersect, first curve, second curve, and it's already really close, so that's a really good guess. And there's my answer, the exact same thing again, 1.0566, which to 3 significant figures, we say x equals 1.06. All right? So these are the same. You can choose the method that you like more. It's going to give you the same result either way. So hopefully that helps you get going on this. Again, email me if you have questions, and I will try to answer them. Okay.